Hey guys, Bobby YouTube here, and this one might ruffle a few feathers, but when I speak for myself. And I'm not speaking against any church or any particular occasion. But I went to the men's retreat 2003 in Texas, had a blast, had a great time, and learned a lot of things there, which you're supposed to. But I remember coming home afterwards and feeling very depressed and very upset about it. Not about it particularly, but just afterwards. It's such an emotional high to be around 700-800 people jumping and dancing and crying and all that, and then going into an atmosphere where you're all by yourself. Actually, the truth, the day I got baptized, of course, the greatest day of my life, that night I fell into such a deep depression. So I had to ask myself, what was wrong with this? This is supposed to be a Christian high all the time of your life, but that wasn't seeming to be true. So I found out that a person can get so emotionally involved with the dancing and the crying and the atmosphere that when you leave it, your equilibrium just won't equal out. It just doesn't. For me personally, I guess. Again, when I speak, I always speak for myself. So I decided that I wasn't going to be that revival retreat chaser. Because I heard a pastor say one time that a lot of Christians live off their Christianity from big event to big event. That they wait for that big excitement, $100,000 retreat, the Clinton Browns, and all the other big stars. And not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. But if that's the only part of your Christianity that you're enjoying, if it's the only part where you're looking forward to, then there's a problem. It was a problem for me. When you first get saved, you're so on fire and everything's new and it's fresh, and you want to be at every study. You want to be at every retreat, every revival, and you take the planes and you do the big thing. But sooner or later you have to figure out is that, because usually retreats are on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday's revival because everyone has service on Thursday. The problem is that Friday comes. Friday comes after the Wednesday and the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And if you can't find joy in the Fridays and the Mondays of your life, if you can't have that happiness, and if you can't have that relationship, which I thank God that I found out that I don't need to have that overwhelming experience. Am I saying I'll never go to a retreat or revival again? No, that's crazy. I mean, we actually have one coming up, which, will be beautiful. I can't wait to see all my friends and family and to get together in fellowship. But for me to go around the world and to run after all this stuff, I'm probably not. It doesn't work for me. I get more emotionally involved with it and hyped for it because, this is hard. A lot of the people that I've seen who got so emotionally involved with the retreats and stuff are not even in church anymore. So, is it really doing anything? If they're just going to be jumping and crying and repenting at the altar, because it's easy to do it there. It's so easy. You get that power. You get that, backup with all your friends and your pastor being there. But a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later, a year later, when you're all alone and you're hurting and you're kind of out of it and stuff, you're not going to have all those people around. So, to me, the most important thing is having that personal, quiet, in your car, in your home, in your church relationship. Because if you're building on retreats and revivals and stuff, they end. You get 2 days. And they're kind of a month, 6 weeks, even a year apart. So what are you doing in between that? So now, having this relationship, you find a peace there, and you kind of don't feel like you need to do. I'm not talking about people not going to retreats. Retreats are fantastic. But people who need their retreat, the people who kind of feel like they lost their relationship with God. Again, I'm speaking for myself. People invited me to retreat, and God bless them. I love them for it. I think it's beautiful. But I don't see myself doing a lot of traveling as far as retreats and revivals go. Again, if one day, only God knows what's going to happen the next day. But me personally, I thank God that I can find retreat and revival right here in my car, talking in the camera, finding it in a song, finding it sitting at the table with my family. The other night, my two sons were playing guitar, playing a song, and my wife was cooking, and I was on the computer, and everything was okay. Everything's okay. And I looked around and said, my God, I'm so blessed right now. No big problems. My family's home. They're safe. My mother's healed. Everything is so good. And if you can find that joy in the peaceful moments, man, oh man, that's revival. That's, for me personally, a retreat. To find excitement in the quiet moments of your life. That not everything has to be a jump and scream and have a good time that way. So, I could be wrong. Again, I'm speaking for myself. Leave some comments. Tell me what you guys think. Again, make it clear, I'm not talking against retreats or against revivals. They've been going on for years. People have been saved. But I'm talking to people who might feel the way I do. That maybe you don't need that. Maybe you need to start in your home with the retreat and revival, with fasting and prayer and reading your word and just recognizing you're blessed. That when you do go to one of these retreats or revivals, you can really jump and really have a good time with your heart, because you know when you get home, you don't need to have all the hype. You can have it by yourself. God bless you guys. Leave comments. Hey guys, I just wanted to elaborate on this. There's two more points I think I want to make. The word retreat, from what I was taught at a retreat, was that when people go in the army and they're fighting a war and they're losing the war, they will retreat back to the camp to get a new game plan because they're losing. And of course the word revival, I mean, I don't have Greek and Hebrew on it, but it's kind of common sense that when something's dead, it needs to be revived. So I don't think that having a retreat and revival in every church every other week is a good sign. I mean, is our churches dying that they need revival? I mean, are we losing the battle so we need retreat constantly? I mean, to sit here and say that there's some churches may need some revival and some retreat, fine, but when it's one after another, when you start hearing there's one here and one there and next week and next week and next week, I'm not sure if that's a good sign or not. I mean, because if a church is alive in Christ and if they're winning the battle, then you don't need retreat and revival for the church. So that's one point. I'm not sure if it's a good sign having all this retreat and revivals. It only means that we're dead and losing. Second point, the best answer, I personally think, when someone asks you, how was the retreat or revival? Best answer, I'll let you know in 6 months to a year. Because it just kind of cracks me up when people say, oh, it was life-changing. Okay, well, you haven't lived your life yet. So how can you know if it gave you life-changing? Now, yeah, I'm sure that there's people went to retreats and revivals and they get some strength and they get some encouragement and stuff, but I think we're better off that after a couple of years, someone comes up and says, hey, I heard you're doing good. I heard you give up fortune telling and drinking and, gambling, and I heard you're working on the choir or whatever. You don't even have to work in church. Just your life changed. You go, oh, yeah, well, a couple of years ago I went to this retreat or revival and it was life-changing. That would make more sense. I mean, because I think we use the word life-changing so kind of loosely. I mean, you see a good movie and someone asks you, how was the movie? It was the best movie I've ever seen in my life. Until the next movie comes out. So, to use the word life-changing a day after the retreat or revival, I personally think it's a little premature. So, that's my 2 points. Leave comments. God bless you.